Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, hello. It is Monday, February 5th. Unfortunately, we are on the trajectory to our 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl, something that no one is looking forward to. Speaking of no one looking forward to, no one's looking forward to another offseason of Stefon Diggs speculation. We'll talk about that at the Pro Bowl. We'll talk about the past weekend. We'll talk about the NHL All-Star Game. Who could care less? And basically, besides that, we got Lisa Ann getting arrested, and we have The Rock taking Cody Rhodes' spotlight. We got Micah. We got Brother Bill. Let's go.
You don't stop, you don't stop. Follow me into the great unknown, where pink flamingos grow. Diet soda flows, and what you take magically regenerates. On supermarket shelves, the ovens clean themselves. You don't pay the tab till the last drop. So we all ride for nothing, 'cause this train never stops. We make a good team, me and you, we do. You can scratch my back, and I'll scratch my back too. And everyone's welcome at the party, yeah. People, more is more. Are we all on board? You don't pay the tab till the last drop. So we all ride for nothing, 'cause this train never stops.
All righty, folks. Welcome back. Trainwreck tonight, 328, sponsored by your place to buy a case, Outlet Liquor, all Super Bowl, all 2024 along Georgia Urban Boulevard in Depew. Speaking of getting our T's crossed and our I's dotted, let's get our guy in here. Your friend, my friend, our friend, Mr. Jake Micah. Welcome. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Living the dream, buddy. Living the dream. How are you?
Seriously, living the same dream. It's kind of a nightmare for me, honestly. I don't want to be, exaggerating here on TT 328. But, yeah, we got 49ers Chiefs again. I'm not even going to be happy if the 49ers win, because then Shanahan will have a title and McDermott will be the only one left out in the cold. I just can't wait for this week to be over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be I'm just like ready to grit my teeth through that Super Bowl. Like, it's gonna be a 4-hour just. Yeah, not looking forward to it, but just looking like I love watching football, love the Super Bowl. It'll be fun to see. Like, I might be excited. I'll be back home. I'm going to be with a bunch of family and friends, eating pizza, eating wings, which is precious to me here in Chicago. When I get my wings back in Western New York, it's a lovely thing. But yeah, man, like what are we supposed to do with this? And I feel like it's not just Bills. Like you mentioned McDermott. It's not just Bills fans. Like, the general country just feels apathetic towards these two teams. Like, if you're, a football fan currently, you're tired of the Chiefs. And even if you're like a lapsed football fan or just like a general casual fan, you're like, oh, the 49ers are always good. Like, why do I want them to win? There's no story about them. And obviously they haven't won a Super Bowl in quite a long time at this point, but people still have to think of the 49ers as one of those tentpole franchises. They've been to a bunch of Super Bowls the last couple of years. Like, they've been to 2 in the last, 3 now, 3 in the last 15 years or something. They're around.
And if they haven't been in the Super Bowl, they've been in the NFC Championship game, or they've been into the NFC Divisional. So a lot of success there. Yeah, I mean, I would have much rather, even though I'm not a fan of Baltimore, and I've made it known very many times on this platform, I would have much rather seen Ravens, Lions, given that conference championship week result. Yeah. But again, we're going to have the media row. We're going to have all the hype. We're going to have Mahomes. We're going to have Reed talking his potential retirement. Are you, and I'm not like going to rub it on you. Are you looking forward to any of those storylines? I guess I'm looking forward to if Andy Reid is going to retire or not.
Yeah, I mean, that would be huge if that happens. It's not even something I had considered going into this week. So definitely something would be a motivating factor for the Chiefs. I am interested as much as it's annoying for people, the biggest storyline for me is Mahomes and like where he's at next to Brady, next to the hierarchy of quarterbacks and what he can kind of do for his legacy or can lose in this game too. Because if they lose this game, there's a lot of shots that people can start taking too if they want to, depending on how the game goes. I mean, they basically, you can make an argument they got bailed out last year. We know the call, we saw the play, everything else, whatever else happened. The first time around, the Niners really choked that game away.
Absolute choke job in that game. I mean, my goodness. You want to talk about Bills fans being devastated from like last year, Cincinnati, 13 seconds. The Bills made it to the Super Bowl. We're up 20-10 with 10 minutes to go and lost in regulation. Or 31-20, right? Yeah, it would be a complete disaster.
Yeah, so there's that. And then they got destroyed by the Bucs. So if they lose this one again, like there's some interesting stuff that people can throw at Mahomes. So I think his story is the most interesting going into the week, just because his legacy is like the most impacted by a win or loss, in my opinion. Like Shanahan, yes, he'll be more, I guess, solidified as one of the great coaches this generation with a win, but I think Mahomes is a bigger deal than Shanahan at this point. The Purdy story might be it. Maybe it's Purdy that we're overlooking.
Well, the Purdy story definitely is from the angle that he went from Mr. Irrelevant to starting in the Super Bowl. Like, that's for sure. The thing I hate is I just feel like Brock Purdy is not a top 8 or 10 quarterback in this NFL. And if you were starting a dynasty tomorrow, you would not select him in that top 8 or 10. That bothers me. It bothers me because we got a top 2 or 3 guy, Micah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Brock Purdy. Like I want to hate him right now. Somehow I expect him to have like 330 yards and 2 touchdowns by the end of the game on Sunday. I have no idea what to do with him. I wouldn't pick him top 8. You're right, and it drives me nuts that he's able to just kind of coast into this. But we'll learn a lot about Purdy too, because the biggest game he's played, 2 biggest games he played, got hurt and then threw 5 picks against the Ravens. So we're in a spot with Purdy where we don't know what he looks like in these like huge moments, and we know what Mahomes does. So I don't know.
The closer I get to this game, I think the under might be the play. I think the 49ers defense is going to figure out Mahomes like they did last time, and I think that Purdy is going to be held in check by the Chiefs defense and Chris Jones, obviously. But getting into it, that's a big part of the Super Bowl because, like we said, a lot of apathy towards this game. It's time to make some money. It's time to make some profit. You seeing anything that you like on the board?
I have seen I've seen a couple things that I like here. The race to 20, I think I want the Chiefs in that. I think the Chiefs are going to play to try to get ahead in this game. And I think that like you said, it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think if the Chiefs get to 20, they win this game. Like the story has been all year. So I'm taking them. It's a plus 120 race to 20 there. I like them also over 108.5 rushing yards. It's minus 115 for the team total. I think Pacheco gets a big workload in this game, but he's also dealing with some injury too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this game. Jerick McKinnon also was activated and could play in this game. And so I think the Chiefs are going to try to run the ball in this game. So any of these rushing props, like Pacheco's minus 120 for a touchdown, if you want to go first touchdown plus 650, I really like the running backs for the Chiefs and kind of the rushing game from there. And then red Gatorade is plus 350. Both these teams are wearing red. It's not even the favorite. Purple's the favorite. So I'm rolling with red Gatorade here.
Red seems almost too easy. I get exactly what you're saying. Red for the Chiefs, red for the 49ers, but that makes me lean purple now. But are there any great Usher props? I haven't seen any good bets there. I'm obviously looking forward to the halftime show since I'm not looking forward to the 2 teams playing.
Over 8.5 songs, under 8.5 songs is right at minus 125 for both. I feel like he gets over. I feel like he's got a lot of history to go through, and it'll be like 10 or 11 quick cuts of songs. So now
does that include guests? Like, because there's rumored, Bieber, there's some other names flying around there of who could be showing up.
It does just say over 8.5 songs. It doesn't say Usher performed songs. So that could be...
it says Super Bowl halftime show, right? Yep. Like they're all in one. So yeah, I like the over there. I like what you're saying. I think he's got a lot of history to go through. I think we might get a medley with some of the, the ones that weren't strong enough to make it on their own. So we'll see that, but I do like the over 8.5 there. Just putting a lid on the Super Bowl. Anything else? Any final thoughts before we kind of move on from it?
The national anthem over 90.5 seconds. I'm ripping that. we're getting 2 minutes on that national.
Yeah, I always like the over. I mean, they're out there, they're going to strut their stuff. I know that they've always got the stopwatch on this, but I think when the nerves get going, you slow down a little bit. And that's what I think ultimately. I love when it's always in the first half and people think, oh, this is going way under. Yeah, have you ever seen a national anthem before? Needless to say,
then they
lot.
start extending that home of the free, and then
they go in for the flyover. There's all kinds of stuff you're waiting for, but folks,
there's also a lot of Taylor Swift props, which I didn't want to get into. I saw your tweets last night during the Grammys. Didn't want to bring.
I'm actually excited for Taylor at the Super Bowl. That's why I was so sick of her at the Grammys. She's so annoying. I will say this. I know people are gonna hate this. Listen, I appreciate the music, but she's the only person in the celebrity section like dancing and mouthing the words to everyone's performance. What is she trying to prove? Why is she doing that? Why doesn't she just sit down, clap, bop her head like everybody else? Why does it have to be standing up so over the top? That's my only question.
It's a great point. That's a great point.
And people are like, oh, why are you mad about her for being so supportive? It's because I think it's fake. That's why. I'm mad about it. So
she knows the camera where it is at all times. Like she knew what was going on. And she also knew what she was about to drop last night too. She wanted all that.
She wanted the smoke. She wanted the attention for sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of always knowing where the camera is at, but not always wanting the attention, let's go over and talk with our guy, Brother Bill. Hey, folks, and on Trainwreck tonight, 328. No expense being spared, just like Jurassic Park. We got him in here. Let's bring him in, our own T-Rex. Brother Bill. Sir, how we doing?
Good.
First week of February.
I'm ready. It's leap year, right? We got
it's a leap year. We got an extra day, and we are in the middle of an El Nino winter. I don't know if you've been treated well over in your neck of the woods. Buffalo hasn't been too terrible besides those 2 weeks.
Neither has Rochester.
Seriously,
it was cold those 2 weeks. We didn't get as much snow as you guys, but other than that, it's almost like spring right now. I feel like.
I'm gonna say you don't want to count your chickens because it's still the first week of February for sure. But yeah, you feel like if we may have gotten through the worst of it if we can survive the next 20 to 30 days here in this leap year. But speaking of the leap year, unfortunately, we got to close this year out, Brother B. Chiefs 49ers, not what anybody wanted necessarily, but are you excited at all for the Super Bowl now that it's here?
Not really. I'm gonna have to put some bets in to get me extra motivated again. Yeah,
no, obviously got to wet the beak in more ways than one. Now I want to talk to you about this though, because Bills Mafia is getting a little, I don't know if we're getting manipulated or what you would call the words, but Jason Kelce obviously comes into Buffalo. He has a great time, creates some viral moments. I don't think there's anything wrong with what Jason Kelce did. Had a great time with all the Bills fans, et cetera, doing good for the community, et cetera, et cetera. But is that goodwill enough in your eyes to like transfer any support to him and the Kelce family? Where are you feeling on that and that whole conundrum?
I'm pretty torn because I think anyone following me knows I'm a Jordan Phillips guy through and through. So, I mean, it's definitely cool what he's doing with like Oshai Hospital, and like it's hard not to like him for like jumping out of the suite and pounding beers with fans, but like. A little bit of me still torn. I know you guys got into it on Twitter a little bit, and he tried.
Yeah, it's exactly like you said. He went after Jordan Phillips. He asked Bills fans to vote in his poll. So naturally, I'm just like, fuck off, dude. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? And then he explained himself. He explained himself in a cool way. I would say, he basically, put the defrost on, any issue, anything that was heating up there. He did a good job. I give him credit. He seemed like a good guy. Obviously, hopping out of the suite was hysterical. We're not happy about the circumstances it was under, needless to say. But, yeah, so no allegiance going the Chiefs' way, courtesy of the Kelce. That's where I'm at, and I think you feel similar.
Yeah.
All right, you got any bets that you're leaning towards? Obviously, Vegas. This should be quite a spectacle. Usher, are you looking forward to that halftime?
I'm torn with Usher even. I don't know if
Usher, baby.
Hey, I love his music. I don't know if you've ever seen the interview with T-Pain where like he threw T-Pain into like a 3-year depression once.
I know that T-Pain was in a 3-year depression, and it was the show at Canal Side that took T-Pain out of that depression, which is all the more amazing. But talk to me more. So you're holding Usher accountable for that T-Pain downswing.
The story goes that they were on their way to like some award show, and they're friends at this point, like they're buddies. And Usher like sent somebody to bring T-Pain to his like area of the plane where he was chilling. So T-Pain goes up there, and I guess Usher's kind of like unloaded on him on how he like ruined music and like auto-tune is like the death of music and it's T-Pain's fault. And it like spiraled into this like long depression for T-Pain. So I'm a T-Pain guy. I think he's amazing. So that leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth about Usher. But I do like his music. You know, You Don't Have to Call, banger. You Remind Me, banger.
DJ Got Us Falling in Love. Yeah, like all these are bangers. His new songs, bangers. So with that said, would you feel vindicated then if all of a sudden in the mid-performance out comes T-Pain?
I'm hoping for it. I think that
this could be the Cinderella ending to this nightmare for the last decade.
That would end everything for me. I'd be a very happy guy.
All right, speaking of end everything, so we got T-Pain coming in. Now there's a little bit of rumor about the Biebs coming in with this Usher performance. This could be Bieber's only shot at a halftime performance. So with that said, Justin Bieber, yes or no during the Usher performance?
Yeah, yes. I love it.
Okay. Yeah, can't argue with the Biebs. Hate to say it for sure. Got to get him in there anyway. Anyone else you're looking for this performance?
Maybe Lil Jon.
Lil Jon has got to be a lock. Vegas, I'm pretty sure he gets the game started for the Vegas Golden Knights like half the time he's there.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure he'll be on location. But yeah, Usher, Lil Jon, T-Pain, Biebs, can't beat it. Speaking of can't beat it, give me a final that you would get behind. What are you looking for? 40-0 49ers?
Is that what I'm looking for, or what do I think could happen?
No, I want what you want to happen.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Niners take care of business. It'd be nice. I think they're the more talented team. Also, it's just the Chiefs have Mahomes and Reed and Kelsey and a good defense. But yeah, I'll say I'd like to see the Niners kind of. I want a close game. Actually, I'll take it back. I want a close game, but I want the Niners to win.
Okay, so basically 20-20 going into the fourth quarter, and then 3 Mahomes pick sixes. 49ers win 41-20. That's what you're looking for. Speaking of teams facing off, we had this past weekend. Did you watch the Pro Bowl at all? The actual Pro Bowl?
A little bit. I caught like the last, I don't know what it would be even called. I guess like 2 quarters, and then like the tug of war in between.
Yeah, I saw the Eli Manning memes. I thought that was well done with the stuff they were doing there. Obviously, I don't know what happened, but I guess the Manning bros are just like football like royalty, right? Yeah. Like they're just entrenched in the NFL forever now. But speaking of entrenched in the NFL forever, it is Stefon Diggs controversy. He's talking to some Miami beat reporter. I don't even remember the guy's name, and I say that with respect, just for perspective, but talking about his usage this year and all this stuff. And to be honest, with me and Stefon, I mean, I feel like I'm just completely over this by this point. Unless there's actually something from the organization side that says they're an issue, I'm really not worried what Stefon says. Stefon has no control over his contract, just like he said. He's getting paid tens of millions of dollars to be wherever he's at. And I think it's just circumstance for him. I think it's really the team side of thing. And that's why I'm not going to be making anything over Stefon Diggs' comments this offseason.
No, I'm in the same boat. It's like, it's all been said and it's all been thrown around for like the last 2 off seasons now. It's just kind of what happens, it seems like. And it's like,
yeah. I mean, what more can you say? Because it's already been said. It's just like Stefon Diggs. The funny thing to me is I will say that, and I'm not trying to call him immature or anything. I just think he's sick of answering these questions. It kind of reminds me of like a kid who's on a road trip and they're like, oh, Stefon, are you going on the road trip? He's like, I don't know where I'm going to be. Like, like it's just whatever. Like, because he's I think he's frustrated about being asked, and he doesn't have any control over it at the end of the day. So I think that is frustrating no matter who you are. But you're in the same boat. You're out on any Stefon controversy before next year, August 1st, 2024.
It seems even like almost when you break down the contract, it's like pretty impossible to move on from. I don't want to move on to him anyway, but like it doesn't seem like there's an out unless somebody's willing to take on like the dead cap that comes with moving him, which I doubt.
Exactly. It's all about this dead cap. Everyone's talking about that. It's almost like a poison pill. It's almost like Brandon Beane put in this poison pill in the deal. So he's just like, no matter what, Stefon, we're going to be stuck with each other for the next 5 years. Yeah. And, obviously a lot of people are pissy, quote unquote, about that. Maybe the end of the year, Stefon's stats not being as good. Yada, yada, yada. I think you get this guy healthy with a full off season. I'm not worried about him for the next 2 years, Isabel.
100%.
Okay. Hey, and speaking of getting into the off season, getting healthy, you're doing that already. We got a new shop open up in the 585.
Yeah, just opened my own barber shop. So that was we opened the day after the Pittsburgh playoff game.
Oh, that was exciting.
Yeah, the day of the game. It was, so I named it after my grandpa who passed away a few years ago. And his birthday was the day of the Pittsburgh game. It got moved to his birthday. So I actually brought a TV in and had like the whole family over for like a kind of like an opening / like B-day party for him and watch the Bills game with everybody. It was pretty awesome.
That shop must have been going nuts during that Josh
run. We were literally doing Happy Birthday as that run started, and the song didn't finish because everyone just started like going nuts and like screaming, and it's pretty sick.
It's Happy Birthday Grandpa forever. And I know you got a lot going on in Nick, Caroline, Teep. You got that you got those priorities taken care of in the season. So, but anything you two are looking at doing during this offseason? I don't want to dox you, but maybe like a trip or anything you guys are going, or maybe anything in the summer?
Nothing planned right now. We got some weddings in New York City, so we'll be in New York City for like one weekend. We're obviously doing wedding planning ourselves now, so she's taking the lead with that. I'm just kind of following around and saying whatever, like, yeah, sure.
Okay. Hey, listen, sometimes you just got to go with the flow, and sometimes that's the best thing you can do, especially in the off season, getting it done. Any goals? I know, this year you picked up, I don't want to say more sponsors. I don't want to put, words in your mouth, but you're kind of diverse in that portfolio. You're building up the Instagram again. Any goals for between now and the end and beginning of next Bills season?
I've always taken it how it came, like all the things that people ask me to do is just fun for me, and usually things that I use already. So like Greenlight, I use their internet.
Oh yeah,
huge blue light drinker. Green light, blue light goes hand in hand almost.
Staying light lifestyle for Bill. Going with that, did you have a favorite video from this year looking back? I mean, you always, it's a grind. I know, like, I'm sure you love it because let's face it, you post a video and it's a nuke. The likes, the retweets, everything's going to, but was there one that maybe you liked a little bit more amongst the grind of the year?
Let me think. Which one was, I don't know if it was like that crazy good. I feel like it was like there's two that were like very like old school Brother Bill, I feel like. And it was the Giants and the Broncos, where it wasn't like some extreme like plot where like I'm like going back in time, and which I thought those were all funny too. But like I
love the storylines, the deeper you get, and also the edits this year were incredible. So shout out to the production team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hard part, because like a lot of these teams I've done about like 6 to 10 times, I think, some of them. So I have to really dive deep into like what I can do to make it different, but keep the same idea everyone likes, like the same like structure. I think the Miami one was really good. The last one with like
Miami was solid.
The funeral home and like I took almost I was more director in that one, where I had like the Mike McDaniel guy was really leading the way.
Yeah, I that is true. It's been more about the storytelling in in those this year versus Brother Bill running around. But hey, quality nonetheless. And speaking of quality, we got to send you on your way. Where are you watching the Super Bowl?
I'll be at my buddy's house. He's an Eagles fan, so he's a sad guy too, but he always pretty much has everyone over his house for the party. So we'll be going over there, getting some wings and pizza.
Where are we getting the wings from in Rochester here?
I'm a Ziggy's guy.
Okay. I know we're Ziggy's people. I wasn't sure if that was the best location for wings, but yeah, Ziggy's. I mean, shout out to the content team over at Ziggy's.
You had them, right?
Yeah. Solid.
You liked them? Yeah. I love them.
Very delectable flavor, crisp, which is always key because that helps the sauce. That helps everything.
Yeah.
Shout out Ziggy's. But hey, thanks for joining us here on Trainwreck tonight, 328. Bill, any final words?
Next year.
Let's go have a good night now. Always good to chat with Billiam Micah back here on Trainwreck tonight, 328, sponsored by Outlet Liquor, your place to buy a case. Let's shoot through. We were just talking with Bill. I want to get your opinion on, obviously, since you run Pay the Bills here on Trainwreck. Sports, Stefon. The comments this weekend, it's like, we're in an off season again. So I was talking with Bill. We both made nothing of it. We both are kind of heads down until August 1st, 2024. How are you feeling on the comments? What are your thoughts on Stefon in this offseason?
Besides with the last couple of weeks, that my anger with his play recently and at the end of the year and the playoff performance and everything, this is like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's done it now. What are we on, 3 years in a row where we've had these kind of comments that are just left up in the air and everybody's like, oh, maybe Stefon Diggs. Like, he has told us that he doesn't want to talk about this. He's not going to go into it further, and he's going to leave these cryptic things out there because he doesn't want to give anybody something one way or the other. And yet here we are again, taking off. Like, the headlines were crazy the other day after that interview. I'm
Absurd.
like, how could you take, like, I guess you could take anything you want from this, but how can you actually take anything out of that interview? Like, he literally was just like, it's not up to me. We'll see what happens, because it's not up to him.
Nothing new. I got nothing new to report. And they're like, is there something new to report out of Buffalo? It's crazy though. You're right. It's like, I get it. Every Bills fan who just doesn't want to deal with it, I get it. You want him to just say, I'm a Buffalo Bill. I love being a Buffalo Bill. I love being Josh Allen's teammate. I can't wait to win a Super Bowl next year. That is my only focus in life. Plain and simply, Stefon Diggs. He's a human. That is not his only thought in life. He has other aspirations. He has the things he wants to achieve. When he's on the football field, I'm happy with the output. I'm happy with the effort. So with that said, yes, it's frustrating to hear, like, I don't know what's going to happen or something like that. That's the truth. These guys are locked up in millions and millions of dollars of contract, and other people are deciding what's going to happen with their future. It's not up to Stefon Diggs, ultimately.
Also, what if he doesn't love being a Buffalo Bill? What if he likes being a Buffalo Bill and he's just doesn't want, like, if he said, I like being a Buffalo Bill, that would be way worse than saying nothing, I feel like. Like, he doesn't have to love being a Bill and being in Buffalo at this point for him to still be productive, for him to still want to be here, for him and Josh Allen to be cool and be buddy and all these other things. Like, that doesn't have to be the case. And so maybe he's just bad at answering these on the spot questions, and like, because he is, like, seems like a very, hard on my sleeve, always honest with everybody type of guy. And sometimes that can be to a fault. So I think his media training, or at least his media strategy now, is like, I'm just not going to give them anything. He probably doesn't love being a Bill right now because they want to win Super Bowls and they're not winning Super Bowls. I understand that. Like, he's been through the ringer of these losses for the last couple of years. And what does he get out of it? He gets blamed and told that he wants to leave the town. So, like, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point from media members, whether it's national or local, that are like, oh, does Diggs want out? Does Diggs want out? Does Diggs want out? When he's clearly said, like, this is annoying. Please stop asking me about this. Now you're actually getting to him.
You said it perfectly. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Nothing more to say. Unless he says something negative, I'm out on any worry about any comments until August 1st.
There will be tweets, though.
There'll be a tweet. He likes the attention. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for liking the attention. If I could fire out a tweet and throw 100,000 people into a tizzy, I think I'd probably do it pretty often. So that's just me. We did mention the Grammys. Big win for, not big wins, quote unquote, for my girl Miley. Flowers won it for the track, but ultimately Taylor wins again for best album. Jay-Z dropped some heat. Did you have any other takeaways from this?
The Jay-Z line was great. That was perfect. No, I knew, there were the hints that it was going to be the Taylor show going into it. That's what it turned into. Miley's performance was incredible. Like that, like you were on it. Jay Spence was on it. Miley's been one of my favorite, just like singers to listen to since she came on the scene. Like, the voice is great. The performance is always great. She obviously had some rocky time there, but it was great to see her finally get that kind of moment. It was a pretty standard affair though, Grammys wise. A lot of rap fans mad about Killer Mike winning over Travis Scott. It was a great album. Like, and a lot of it is just people. I saw people complaining about it, and they were like, "Well, I haven't listened to it." It's like, okay, so that doesn't mean that it's not the best rap album of the year. Like, what are we talking about here, people? It's not Macklemore winning best rap album. Like, it's Run the Jewels, Killer Mike.
And watching the Grammys, hoping for the right verdict in the rap category is kind of a sad effort, right? I mean, this goes back to what was it? Kendrick Lamar losing to Macklemore the one year. I remember people were just like beside themselves.
Yeah, they're not. This is not the audience you should be looking for that validation in rap from. And that's why I've mostly given up on like hoping for anything from the Grammys, because of that one really turned me off that year. But just like, rap is my favorite genre, as you can see behind my head, and the fact that it's just like you said, like, you shouldn't be looking for that validation from that. So if you want to get mad about it, you know what you're getting into. So you're going to watch it. You're going to get mad about it. That's what you want to do. Hey, go for it. I get people wanting to be outraged about things. We'll get into that later on today too, but
exactly like Jay-Z talking about him, protesting the Grammys by being at home and watching the Grammys. Of course. Speaking of being at home, before we get into our big end topic here on TT 328, I had to throw this on here. I'm sorry. It got on the timeline. Well, anytime I see a porn star arrested, I want justice. I want to make sure that their rights are being protected. I want to make sure that, there's nothing to worry about. Everything is, above the level, as they say. So when I see porn star arrested for, I'm thinking like public indecency, something like that. But ultimately, Micah, it seemed like this was much ado about nothing. It almost seemed like it was a Mad Lib, when you kind of have a blank and it could just be anything. So we have porn star Lisa Ann arrested for checking her phone at a Matt Rife show?
Yeah. And she said, according to TMZ, said that she did not have her phone. Her friend might have checked her phone, and then they took Lisa out instead. Seems kind of fishy to me. They held her there for 45 minutes. Yeah, I didn't know her and Matt Rife had done a radio show together before too. So there's some like rapport between the two. So I don't know. Is it like a bit? Are we getting worked here?
It really worries me that we're getting worked here.
Yeah.
Just because the post itself, if you saw on the caption, starts with "This is not a bit," and there's a period after every word. I'm a little worried that it's a bit when I see that, Micah.
I am too, and I wouldn't put it past Matt Rife to do something ridiculous like this. Also, the same night we were talking about Killer Mike, he also got arrested at the Grammys.
Apparently, that was a misdemeanor. What the hell is going on out here? Why are we arresting people at public events for misdemeanors?
I mean, so it was like in a bit like to make fun of the Killer Mike thing that had happened earlier in the. I don't know the timing if it works out the same or everything. It felt really worky to me. I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. It's just so random. That so like, true. Why would you? I don't know. The phone thing in comedy shows is one thing, but to kick them out and arrest them for it is like,
a little sketchy for sure. And again, checking your phone, like, come on, it's 2024. I get it. Like, I get getting kicked out of a venue, but yeah,
take them away. Then Chappelle takes them. All these other people. If you don't want the phone in there, take them at the entrance. Give them back later.
Just a reminder. Any porn stars looking for an opportunity to get their voice heard or get their message out, Trainwreck Sports is always here for you, male or female. Seriously, let's get the voices heard. Let's make sure opportunities are met. Speaking of which, he stole the spotlight, Mike. It's so funny because I want to go back to it. We all saw that grainy video from Alabama where we all knew The Rock was there. But for some reason, none of us were really worried that this was going to happen. Why was that? Looking back at that, why were we not more worried?
I know we should have seen something ridiculous. I think maybe it was just like denial.
In my mind, I thought it wasn't The Rock. I thought the video was blurry enough to where, even though it was basically like a guy The Rock size and like Iron Paradise merch and everything, that was what I convinced myself. But yeah, all of a sudden, 9:55, the music's hitting, and I feel like an idiot.
It's not even that it happened. It's just the way that it happened too. Like Cody, like I've seen so many memes and different things about it. I think John Alvin's name was like, what if in Dark Knight Rises, Batman was training for a year to get back at Bane. And then at the end of the movie, he gets there and he's like, all right, Bane, I got you, but I'm gonna let Superman get the first lick and brings him in. That is like a great, like this has been Cody's story the whole year.
I love that.
The story part is the most, I can't hear that word anymore. Like it's just going to ruin my brain now at this point. But the whole thing is he wanted revenge on Roman, and it just makes it look so, like there are so many other ways that they could have gotten Rock into this match without doing this way. I have no idea. I was completely flabbergasted. I was at dinner, literally went out to dinner, did not watch a lick of SmackDown. I get in the car at 9:00, like on the dot. I was like, oh, let's see how the Cody Roman segment.
By the way, Central Time there, folks. So it's when SmackDown ended. So
Yeah, Central Time. And our chat had burned down already. The timeline had burned down, and then it didn't stop it's still going. We're 3 days later, and it's still going. I don't know. We should have known better. We're usually on top of like the possibilities, and we had no idea.
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing to me is, I'll just say this. I mean, we've been talking about that potential match on Wrestling with Emotion for two plus years at this point. I think the original build was in the fall of 2021. Was in the first time it was really getting put like, oh, head of the table, Samoan face off, everything. I am still shocked that people are that upset. I really did think that The Rock versus Roman was what people wanted, and that's why I guess I don't blame WWE so much, but I really thought that it would be received better on the internet. I guess the loudest people on the internet are what? The complainers, obviously, right? And I don't say that in any type of negative way, because you're right. You're absolutely justified if you want Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. I mean, that ending to the Royal Rumble was electric. I love the fact that not only is he pointing at Roman, but he was like not pointing like through the corner. He was pointing across the ring from the corner. Like it looked like super awkward and different. I loved everything about it. But yeah, you're right. It was the way it happened. I think if Cody got like taken out, like, you know, with his dog in the pre-show and Roman was laughing and cutting a promo, well, guess I got like another like free thing, and then Rock's music hit, maybe it's a little bit different. But the idea that Cody is just like getting like legitimately, to steal a porn term, cucked. He's getting cucked on this main event at Mania. And yeah, they don't grow on trees for a guy like Cody Rhodes, regardless of his stardom, regardless of how big of a babyface he is in WWE right now. So yeah, that's a little alarming. I hope that I do still have hope that somehow it'll be written into where he might be moving his shot up to like Elimination Chamber, or he's going to get night one at the Rumble or at Mania or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm still hopeful. But yeah, it sucks if you wanted Cody, and I totally empathize with fans.
Yeah. Every hotel room's got the Cody Rhodes chair now, but that's the thing about like this. There's so many different angles you can look at it as. The thing that I've been looking at it as the most is the political play that supposedly happened for The Rock to get in this position and demand this match. Like, he's in charge of the company. You can say what you want about Triple H and the creative process and how could he ruin this creative. Like, I don't think Triple H would have done this. I think that The Rock came in and said, I'm doing this Roman match. We're doing it at this WrestleMania. He has more power than everybody else. We haven't seen that happen in WWE ever. Like, it's happened in
You're
wrestling
so right.
history.
The Rock essentially had like a Google invite for like Mania event with Roman Reigns like for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But he just clicked the link like this week. Like he just clicked it for oh yes, I will attend. Like everyone's like, what the hell? This is 2022, bro.
And so why doesn't it make sense? Because it doesn't make sense. It's not what they were planning to do. There's nothing around it. It was like, you're right. Even 2 years ago, they're promoting the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And The Rock's supposed to come back at Survivor Series with the golden egg and everything else. Like, that was all supposed to lead to Rock Roman at WrestleMania Star. That's 3 WrestleManias ago now. So I think he really just did cash it in. They convinced him to do it. And they're like, Cody, man, listen, we hear you. You got this great fan base. You've been doing this great thing, but Dwayne's here now, so we're gonna figure this out. And what do you do if you're Cody? Like, there's nothing you can do.
Nothing. And by the way, I legitimately just forgot that Austin Theory lost the golden egg that Vince McMahon had in his office. My goodness, things you don't wish you remember, and things you don't want to think about again. But let me ask you this before we wrap it up. TT 328. Then, are they gonna fix this?
I think it's gonna be Cody and Seth. I really just think they're just gonna roll with this. I don't think they care. Why do they care what the
when you look back at last week now? Sorry, I am just the worst at cutting off, and I'm always gonna do it. If you look back at last week now, the push by Seth on social and the posting to get him to choose Cody is a little bit more. We all thought that was just to legitimize the big gold belt, but it looks like that was for something a little bit more.
No, they were trying to soften the blow the whole week. It also, that's the underrated thing, is this makes Seth look like the biggest dummy in the world. Unless he can't lose to Cody. There is a Money in the Bank cash in that could happen, all this other stuff. But that match has its whole set of issues. Why do they even want whatever? I don't know what they do. They could add Cody to make this a triple threat, but that kind of just makes it seem like they messed up in the first place. Unless it's going to be like Cody and Rock are going to team up to take down Roman, because this is ridiculous. I've heard some theories. I was listening to the Masked Man show earlier. Maybe this is the introduction of The Rock as corporate Dwayne. Like, this is him becoming like the corporate figure in WWE, and that's what he's going to do. Because we know The Rock music came out. We all think it's going to be The Rock. What if he's just like, no, I'm not The Rock, bro. I'm Dwayne Johnson. I run this shit, and I'm in the main event. That's the way you get like people actually.
Hollywood Rock would be perfect in this spot. Don't get that twisted for sure. But I really think we're gonna get old school, trying to be cool Rock for sure.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, listen, it's gonna be a big time match. Cody and Seth will still be a big time match. It'll be a great match. I don't think Roman and Rock will be a good match. People will be interested in it. I don't think they're doing anything. I think they're just going to keep rolling with it and just make us want to like Cody more. That's going to be their thing. Is like, oh, we made Cody into an even bigger sympathetic babyface. Like, sure, whatever you say, man.
All right, folks. Micah's smoking on that copium, just like Lisa Ann was when she got kicked out of Radio City Music Hall. But this has been Trainwreck tonight. 328. Make sure you're subscribed on all platforms. Coming up live later on our YouTube today, Monday, February 5th, we got the Kitten Bowl. So make sure you're staying tuned to that. But folks, thanks everyone for tuning in. Let's have a great week. Let's get this Super Bowl over with. And most importantly, let's have a good